What's up, everybody? Woo woo! Deoblo, you want to do the?
No, you know what? You know what, Phil? Man? It's pretty much like ladies' night. So we're gonna let Pandora start the show off. You know, we're just gonna sit back to the side and let the ladies do their thing.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another excellent, epic episode of Hunter's Hangout. This is season 11, episode 8. This is our actors showcase, and we are super, super proud and lucky to have this incredible panel of strong, powerful haunt women actors out here for us. We've got Alex, we've got Dani, and we've got Devin, and we're super thrilled to have them here. And if y'all are new here, please make sure if you're on Facebook that you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give StreamYard, our streaming app, permission to see your names here on the show. Otherwise, what happens is we see this Facebook user. We cannot tell who's talking to us. So yes, we do have an amazing lineup of legends and queens tonight. I agree. Thank you so much. All right. And with that, gentlemen, what else would you like to talk about real quick before we get to prizes?
Just get your pens and papers ready because it's going to be a fun show tonight. So
most definitely,
absolutely. So
I wish I had some actors to like watch the show. I'm like, you guys watch this, but I don't. Damn it.
Oh, that was Chris who said that. Chris, you know the rules. You got to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. All right. All right, we got some great prizes to give away tonight, guys. And all you need to do to win a prize tonight is to ask a question of our fantastic actor panelists. That's it. That's all it takes. Whether I get to your question or not, you're automatically entered to win one of those prizes. So please make sure you stay to the end of the show. That's when we will announce those prizes. And I will go into how you go about claiming those if you win later on in the show. And tonight, we have from Halloween Shirt Company a free shirt. From Unsub Masks, we have a free mask.
I'm going to
from Atmos.
Yeah. But see, clap. She's like, don't clap.
I anticipate it now. Either way, he's gonna do that little pause in between. So, right. From Atmos Effects, we have the Holohounds free download. From Ned's LEDs, we have the deluxe 12-volt sampler pack. That's one of each colors that Ned's offers. From Monsters Alive, we have $25 off. From Rotten Prop Works, we have a set of zombie arms. From
Like
Toxic
nice hair,
From Toxic Effects, we have Rotten Pumpkin number 5.
all right. Still haven't got mine.
Oh, you heard that, Blake. You heard that. He's looking for his Jackos, man. All right. From Fright Night Studios, we have Bloody Hatchet. From Cobwebs and Candlesticks, we have a latex human scalp prop. And that thing's wicked.
Yeah.
From Drop Dead Design Studios, we have 25% off. From Nightmare Makers, we have one unfinished skull. From 916 Productions, $25 off. From Froggy's Fog, we have a gallon of bog fog, and they have all returned safely from TaterCon 2023. And TaterCon 2024 is already beginning its booking, so make sure you guys check that out. From Horror Ornaments, we have one free ornament. From Fright Props, we have $50 off your order.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
From Scarlet Badges, $50 worth of free badges.
Oh yeah.
I like that. I like that better than the whistle, I think. It works. It works.
Every time.
From Haunted Hills Productions, we have the free Necro Nurse mask.
Yeah, baby.
From Monster Misfits, we have a free bottle of Monster Blood. Thank you very much. And thank you so much to all our sponsors for these amazing prizes that you guys provide for our members every single week. We appreciate you so much. So please, please make sure that you go to them first.
Oh, your haunt needs. Yes. Yeah, and I do too.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you. And welcome.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Pandora. So as we mentioned, this is our actor showcase episode. So this is your chance to ask where, our panel tonight, where they got their inspirations, how they come up with some of these amazing characters, how they develop them. This is your chance to really pick their brains. So with that being said, we'll introduce the first person. And Alex, I'm going to come to you. How about you introduce yourself and where you are located?
Okay. Oh, I didn't know I was going to be the first one.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex.
I'm Alex. I am from Zombie Army Productions. I was at Statesville Haunted Prison for 6 years, and now I am over the bridge at Hell's Gate Haunted House, and I've been there for a year. And that's about it. I'm a core makeup artist and a Q-line actor.
Awesome.
Amazing.
And I did see you at the haunt, man, and it was amazing. I was like, damn, that's a good ass actor right there.
Oh, thank you so much.
Now, Alex, how many different characters do you have?
That's a loaded question.
No, that is. Sorry.
Hold on. If you count the twin, because I am the twin at Hell's Gate for a lot of our promotional shoots, I would say probably around 6.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Damn.
I'm working on 7, but it's 6 right now.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw that or not, but Chris said that you are a legend. Amazing. And
Oh my God, no. Chris from Transworld Live, y'all. If you don't know who that is, you should look up Transworld Live. He's a legend. So
he is absolutely a legend as well, for sure. We love Chris a lot. We love our Transworld fam for sure.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
Steve says, nice artwork.
hey, thanks. This is my artwork wall. A lot of it is gifted for. You got Chad Savage up there. You've got artwork of some of my characters. I've got some autographs from makeup artists and stuff like that. And the devil one in the corner is actually from Jan from Eloise Asylum. He painted that for me. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Right on.
Wish I could
All
paint.
right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alex. We'll come back to here momentarily. I'm going to bring it over to Dani. Dani, how about you give a little background on yourself?
Hi all. I'm Dani. I been haunting for 15 years. I started a haunt called 11th hour. And that eventually became the 13th floor, which is where I am now. I've been the wardrobe manager there for 8 or 7 years. My timeline's a little fuzzy. I just do costumes, and then when I'm not doing that, I act in our midway or anywhere around our show. There's a bunch of various characters. Oh, Chris is also a legend. And yeah, that's what I do. I make costumes outside of 13th floor as well. I've recently started commissioning them. So yeah, I make costumes. Yeah.
Awesome. Now I'm going to ask the same open-ended question, but how many characters do you have?
I started thinking about that as you asked that to Alex, and so I have, I play a lot of characters, but I don't I haven't adopted, I don't have characters. I have, so 3, I guess, is my long, short answer. I Bird, which is a sock puppet that was a doll that my original character Eek created. Or not created, hell. So I made that, and then I have a clown that I call Lemon, and she's got a bunch of different looks and costumes, but it's all Lemon. One of my fathers. So, yeah.
Super cool.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you, Dani. We'll come back to you also momentarily. I'm going to bring it over to Devin now. Devin, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Devin. I've been in the haunted house industry for this is going to be my 8th year. I started in 2016. I had never been in a haunted house before. My whole life, I was terrified of them. And I started working in haunted houses when I found out how they worked. I kind of fell in love. So I started at Amherst Asylum in 2016. I worked there for a couple years, and then it closed down. And then I was art director for Haunted Hills Hospital for about 5 years. And then I moved recently out to Chicago, and I'm working for Midnight Terror now. I'm predominantly a stilt walker as of right now. Sometimes I'll act on the ground if they need me in the haunted house like this past October. But mostly right now I'm walking in stilts.
Dude, I think I'd kill myself if I tried to do that.
I felt for the first time this past October, actually. It was pretty scary, but I was good.
Yeah, you get me drywalling on a wall and stuff, and I can hold on to the wall, I'm good. But I don't know if I can walk around all day.
I love it.
Yeah, I give you credit because I tried stilt walking once. I'm 6'4", and I picked too big of a stilt, and yeah, that's not fun.
I found my first time going up, and then I went right back down.
Yeah.
It's a lot of practicing. When I was art director, that's all I would do. I wouldn't use a ladder. I would use stilts for everything that I needed to do up high, and then I slowly learned until the point. Now I walk in the drywall stilts. I tried jumping stilts for the first time this past October. Those are super fun. And I love it makes it your job a little bit easier when you're a few feet taller than everybody else.
I guarantee you there's likely to be some more plenty of questions about that as we move forward, for sure.
Just like Pandora said, yeah, there's a bunch of young ones on. They can do that stilt stuff. I get a muscle cramp or something, and then I'm like, going down.
And I forgot to ask you, Devin, how many characters do you have?
As of right now, this past season, I didn't really have any specific characters. I was just kind of having fun. I was bald this past October, and my best friend Anna does my makeup most of the time, and so she would just get a different idea every day, do different makeup. Sometimes I'd have horns. I'd wear different costumes for different nights depending on the weather. So right now, I don't really have a specific character, but I'm hoping for this upcoming October I'll have some more.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Absolutely. And
always adapting.
Absolutely. And Katrina wanted to pop in there with me and stilts equals broken bones.
Yep, right there with you, brother.
Yep. So awesome. Well, thank you, Devin. We'll come back to here also momentarily. So I'm gonna bring it back to the top, and we'll start looking at some photos. So Alex, who do we got here?
Okay, so this is Sharky. This is my main character. You will rarely catch me wearing anything else. This is who I am. This is who like everybody quote unquote knows me for. I don't even know how to describe it. Like I've said, it's in, if you've ever seen Days of the Living Dead, which is Zombie Army's YouTube channel.
You're talking to big fans of Zap right here. Don't you worry.
Okay. Well, I'm just explaining for everybody else if they haven't seen it. We do have a YouTube series called Days of the Living Dead. It's kind of follows us around the haunted house. There's a bit where they asked me, what is my favorite thing about Sharky? And I basically just said, it's me in a dress. She's stupid. She's funny. She's sometimes scary, but most of the time it's just a free-for-all. I love playing her because I really kind of don't have to act. It's just, like I said, it's just me. It kind of just comes naturally. So
would you say then that Sharky, because we did have someone ask you, which has been your most favorite haunt character you've done thus far? Would it be fair to say Sharky?
It would be fair to say her 100% because I've never felt this loved before, like for something that I've ever done. So she's given me a lot of opportunities and a lot of praise that I've never had before. And I'm like super, super happy about that. Cause like I have bad self-esteem. So when it comes to people are like, you're amazing. I'm like, what? So, yeah, she's my prized possession. She's my love and joy. If you ever come and see me, I'm sorry in advance, but I will take your things. I will pester you. I will annoy you. But she's my pride and joy. I love her very much.
Well, and to key in on what you said, it feels good to be validated and acknowledged for our work. And so, of course, it makes sense that you would really fall in love with a character that has brought you that validation, for sure. Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I have a question, and I'm going to put you on the spot, Alex. I'm sorry, but it's going to be asked to all three of you. What is the best advice you could give to a new actor?
Oh God.
You could take a second to think about it, but
there's a lot of things that I could say. But I think number one mostly is pace yourself. Because that's what they tell us all the time is like pace yourself, make sure that you're not putting everything like into it and in one go, because then you won't last the entire night. You're going to be super, super energetic at the beginning of the night. And then at the end, you're going to be like, God, please get me out of here. I'm so tired. I'm so sick. So being able to pace yourself and make sure that you're doing steady the entire night instead of giving it your all at first, is really, really, really important. Also, don't swear at customers. That's the one main thing that I always stand by. It just ruins the experience for everybody. I believe personally. And I could go on, but it's gonna.
Well, how about this? Why don't we ask Scott's question then? How is the adjustment of Sharky from Statesville to Hell's Gate with the darkness overtaking the character?
That's also a loaded question. So for me, Statesville was like everything to me. It was the reason I started haunting was Statesville. I've never been to a haunted house before that. And I've never even walked through Statesville as a customer. I've only been as an actor. I've only seen it on Days of the Living Dead. That's how I found Statesville at the beginning of time, which was like 7 years ago for me. But the change is so vast, especially because of the atmosphere outside. Because that's where I am. I'm outside in the queue line in our little tent. The Statesville tent is maybe like a football field long, or it was. Rip. So it was more in your face, super exciting, super scary. everything's in your face and everything's raw and real and just metal rock show everything. And then moving over to Hell's Gate, it's more like, ooh, spooky, scary, very theatrical, very like immense into detail and very into the story. Both of them are very story driven, but the story of Hell's Gate is fantastic. So the change is there 100%, and you kind of just have to adjust to it a little bit, but it's still fun. We're still making it fun. The Statesville people are making it more into a rock show as the years go on. So
cool.
Nice.
Cool.
I had a great time when I went, man. It was pretty great.
I'm glad to hear it.
It was amazing.
It is a great show. Not included, like not saying me, but the show itself is absolutely fantastic, and I cry every time I walk through. So
it's amazing. That's cool. That's very cool. It's a bucket list thing for me for sure. And one of these days, I'm going to talk John into making me an honorary member.
I was saying, come on down. Let's go. Wherever you are at.
All right. Very cool.
Now, when you start with your character, do you adapt it at all? Like, are you making your own costumes? Are you trying to change up your makeup? Is it kind of stick to the basics on that?
Or from the change from Statesville to Hell's Gate?
I guess any character you might have. I mean, you could touch on that if you want, but I was just kind of keeping it more of any character you develop.
Yeah. So for my costumes, at the beginning, usually I'll start with my making it myself. And then if I really want to elevate the character, I'll ask people that I really think are great artists. Like, for an example, my new Hell's Gate costume that I'm not for Sharky, that I haven't worn yet, that I'm going to wear this season, is made by my friend Gizzy, who goes by Putrid Cloth Designs. It's fantastic. I'm so excited to wear it. So for that, yes, I would say I go to people that I love and trust for my costumes. I'll try to make them myself, but I don't think they're what I see in my head, because I'm not a costume designer. I'm a makeup artist. So I can do the makeup part, but I can't do the costume part. So makeup wise, a couple of my characters have masks, so it's just the eye black. So there's nothing you can really do about that. But for makeup wise, Sharky, I've had to tinge a little bit just because of the house change. I can't have red because it's more monochromatic. So now it's just black and white with a lot of darkness veins on my face. But yeah, I think
Cool.
that's pretty much.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. And then let me see here if I can.
Christopher would like to know, do you use your character on TikTok or on Reels on Instagram for promotion or development?
So that's really funny, actually. During COVID in 2020, I got really, really bored, and I decided to use TikTok as a way of putting my passion of doing makeup and stuff like that out into the world. Now that I look back at them, they're kind of cringe, but I mean, whatever. A couple of my TikToks made at least 1.3 million views. I think it was one of me and Jeff, aka Fluffy, in the tent. So I started gaining more and more followers just because of Sharky. So people kept wanting to see more of Fluffy and more of Sharky. So I just kept putting out more content. And then the followers kept coming in, and I was like, this is wild. This is crazy. Sometimes the videos won't do well because of the algorithm, but once in a while you'll get a good one. So yes, that's the answer is yes.
Tell us a little bit about this character that.
This necessarily isn't a character. It's just a makeup that I got to do at Transworld. Alejo
amazing.
From Florals.
We know Alejo, yes.
Yeah, Alejo is amazing. So I got to wear this at Transworld, and if I were ever to wear it as a character, I would absolutely love it. But I just thought it was really cool, and I wanted to show it off the work because I didn't get to wear it for as long as I wanted to because I it was a dual character, so it was me and Carly Chavez from Massacre Haunted House, and
cool. I
kind of played around. I know you're not supposed to walk around in character at Transworld, but playing around in that was super, super fun when people ask for photos. It was more, I felt like more of like a succubus character, and I'm not usually into like sort of like the like sexualized characters and stuff. So it was really cool to do that. It was a different shift in acting techniques, I guess.
What do you like best? Face prosthetics, masks, or makeup, as long as we're on a makeup image?
Oh man. For haunting, it's gonna be makeup always, because face prosthetics you're gonna sweat. You're gonna break down the prostate and it's not gonna work. Masks, you're gonna sweat, and I don't like sweating. So if we're talking haunt wise, it's gonna be makeup. If we're talking makeup wise, like in general, for anything, it's gonna be face prosthetics. I love doing face prosthetics.
Awesome.
Now, in a situation like this, where you said this was kind of, you know, you got a unique prosthetic and makeup done, do you kind of adapt on the fly with trying to like create like movements or however you feel like the character would develop basically? You know, I
was sitting there for, I think the makeup took 6-ish hours. The lips were a prosthetic as well, and then the whole chest was a prosthetic, and then he did my entire body. So I had 6 hours to sit there and think about it. So I did have to really think about what I was gonna do, even though it was at Transworld, so I couldn't really like put it into perspective because they don't want people to walk on the floor like that. So if I ever were to do something like that, would probably be more slower movements, more like moving, kind of like a snake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, speaking of makeup and artists, we have the great Jennifer Luke of Graffiti Effects, who's also been on for our makeup demos in the past. And she would like to know if you could guest act, and we'll ask everybody this as we go down the line. But for you, Alex, if you could guest act in any location of your choice, which would it be?
Just one?
Just one.
Just one? Oh no. I have so, like a list, because the only place I've guest acted outside of the Midwest is Arts Mortis in Alabama. So I would probably, I mean, I could go with the normal one and say Netherworld. I would love to work at Netherworld. But if we're talking about other haunts, probably Eloise.
Okay. All right.
Very cool.
So Ben and Jim, if you're paying attention, Alex would like to guess a spot. All right. Excellent.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Bring it over to Dani now and add this amazing character to the screen.
Wow.
Wow. So
yeah.
How did you start with this one?
So this is fun. So she is like a half of another clown. So those are me and Maddie worked for Transworld Live this year. Maddie is my friend from out in LA. She was my other like my little cohort at the Transworld Live booth. If y'all were at Transworld, you may have seen us bopping around together. And we did the introduction to the party. And we wanted to do, it was in February this year, so we wanted to do Valentine's Day clown. So I was the red Valentine's Day clown, and that's what that is. That's a fun character actually, because I have party characters and then I have haunt characters, and like I'll do party characters for like haunted house events, but I won't use them in haunted houses. I like to have like the separation. It's a different way to act for me. So that's who that is. That's just a Valentine's Day party clown.
Super great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Did you make any of this stuff or?
Yeah, actually, so my my wristy cups and my little hipster, my little bustle and my ruffles on my neck I made, and then my boyfriend, his name's Andy Martingello, he made me and Maddie's hats up there. Those are
super great. I love that. All right, I have to do this because there's a story behind this. So for Dani Panek from Dani Patrick, Dani P's, we got 2 Dani P's.
Ooh.
What would be your greatest tip for those who are acting?
Man, that's a that's a hard question because I feel like I have a lot of answers for that. But I think, what is your greatest tip? My greatest tip? I don't know if it's my greatest tip, but it's definitely a tip that I feel like I would follow. Is give it your all. Like if you're acting, you're trying to like portray a character. You're not trying to like portray yourself through the character. So just like literally lose your mind and like just dive in. You know, I feel like a lot of people hold themselves back from like really like immersing themselves in characters, and I feel like if you just like let go, it becomes a lot easier for you to portray whatever it is you're trying to portray.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good advice because like a lot of people are shy, and then what they don't realize is like they don't know who you are. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, exactly, and that was something that I struggled with when I first started. I didn't pop out of my pop out for like the first 2 or 3 groups, like my first night, and I had her name's Colleen Jones. I don't know if she's still in the haunt industry, bopping around anywhere, but she had to like talk me out of like a little panic attack. I was like, I'm scared. And she's like, no, like you're scary. And I was like, you're right. I'm scary.
It all went downhill from there. No, I'm just kidding. In a good way.
Yeah. Let's see. I believe this is Scott again. Do you sketch out a character before creation, or do you just begin experimenting with costume styles and makeup, and it develops from there?
I would love to lie to everybody and say that I'm the type of person that like sits down and plans everything, like has like a like board and like a draw and a plan. I'm not. I am very much inspired by things, and a lot of the time those things don't necessarily translate to what I'm trying to create. But yeah, I just kind of, if I see something that I like, I start with that and I just go. And if I need to stop and sketch, I do, but it's never like oh, I have this idea and now I'm going to write this out and I'm going to make a plan and then I'm going to do the plan. That's not how my brain works.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, and I think it's great to say, hey, I'm not one of those people that does that necessarily, because it lets people know that you can still run with things and it can still
yeah. It's like math. Like things. You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Dani, what character is this one?
Service. That's Eek. That's a Summer Eek, actually.
Summer Eek. Awesome. Summer Eek. Blow her up a little bit bigger, Phil. There, Summer Eek.
Yeah, that's my babe. That was a character. So that's not her original costume, but I created her because I wanted to create a character that I knew I could just like, just a character that I could have anywhere and everywhere all the time. I really wanted to make sure that she fit everything, no matter what. So like, I originally created her for like just being outside at 13th floor. And like with that thought process in mind, I just knew I wanted to create a visually appealing from like a 360 perspective character. I knew when I was making her, I didn't want to be a clown and I didn't want to be something verbal. So I created Eek, and Eek is a portal demon, and she's from a realm that no longer exists, and she comes and goes wherever she goes as she pleases. I take her like traveling with me, and like the idea behind that was to like have a character that I could just like, bring anywhere and she matches, even if it's not like specifically like set to like their theme or like their, you know, style of haunting. She's a demon. She just pops up, so she fits, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good idea too. Having like, be able to blend in any haunt without actually having like, you know, it themed out and stuff.
Agreed. Yeah. Wow. Joe would like to know: do you guys find yourself staying in character even when no guests are around? And talks about how he loves watching some of his actors when they don't think anyone's watching.
Yeah, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but there's a lot of footage from us on our security cams of me just, doing the thing in an empty room.
Excellent. I love that.
It's hard to like fall out of character, I feel, once I'm in it,
Well, yeah, and I gotta throw props out to the husband out there who says definitely own the character at all times. Yeah. Do you like to use catchphrases for your characters?
What
Mike would like to know.
I don't think I have catchphrases for my characters. I feel like I have more so catchphrases for myself at this point. But no, not really.
Okay.
I'm gonna since it was asked what advice, I'm gonna ask what are the don'ts to do with actor characters or
well, the obvious one obviously is don't break character. Alex brought up don't swear. That's super important. Unless I guess don't swear unless your haunt allows you to swear. Follow the rules of your show and make sure that those rules are clearly defined to you. And if you are confused, ask your manager. Don't. Man, that's a good one because everybody talks about do's, and I think a lot about the do's, but I don't really think about the don'ts. Don't overwork yourself, which is basically saying pace yourself. And don't compare yourself to others. Actually, I have this written down.
Nice, look at that.
Compare yourself to others.
I like that one.
Yeah, when we do that, I feel like you just end up creating a bunch of things that already exist, and we're not here to do that. We're here to create cool stuff. It's not fun when you're just looking at your neighbor going, "I want to do that," and then you just have a whole neighborhood of the same stuff,
That's right, originality.
Yeah.
Everyone's unique. I like that a lot. And I'm going to ask you also. We all have been there, I'm sure. I know I have. You have those problem customers. What's the best advice you could do when you are in a situation with that said customer?
What kind of customer? Sorry, it cut out for
the problem customers. The ones who are a pain in your ass, basically.
Obviously try to diffuse the situation if you're in okay. I'm gonna speak from the perspective of a line actor, just because that's what I am. I'm also gonna speak from the perspective of somebody with a radio in my ear. I'm a manager, so I always have direct communication with upper management, security, anybody I need to get a hold of right away. I'm not in this case where I'm in a scene. So from a outside management perspective, as a actor, obviously try to defuse the situation. If you can't defuse the situation, get away from that group. And tell whoever needs to be told beyond that there's a problem group and that they need to look out for them, and then those people are going to make the decision about what to do with that group. If you're a scene actor, same thing. Create distance. Don't try to use the situation. Just create as much distance as you can in that group. Keep yourself safe.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. Yep. Yeah, we all face that every once in a while, and yeah, it's how you can adapt, I guess, to that situation. But yeah, so
Great.
Absolutely.
This is from Brian Kopp. One of your favorite moments performing last season, and big fan, by the way. You're very talented.
I'm a big fan of Brian Kopp too. One of my favorite moments from performing last season. I don't know. There's a lot of moments I think that I can reflect back on. I think one of my favorite moments, and honestly one of my favorite moments in general, is So Brian's my boss actually, and I'm gonna put him on blast for a second. So he's the general manager. Excuse me, he's gonna yell at me later. He's the senior general manager of the 13th floor, the old Joliet haunted prison. And as the senior general manager, he wears a lot of hats. And he started just like we all did, where he was just a haunt actor. So he doesn't get to do the acting part like ever anymore. And as somebody who's been in he came from House of Torment, Austin, like House of Torment, So I got to act with him like once last year. And acting with Brian is probably some of my favorite times because it barely ever gets to happen. And it's from somebody who can do it longer than me. And it's just so cool to see that, like, even though he's so, like, higher up, and everything, that he can still, like, suit up and get down and get dirty, So I don't know if I can, like, pinpoint a specific moment, but acting with you, dude.
Love it. Yep.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, Dani. We'll come back to you here shortly. I'm going to bring it over to Devin now. Let me add your picture.
Hello.
Aww.
Wow.
So who's this?
So this character was Q. Basically, at this point, I was a Q line actor, and we didn't have that many Q line actors. So all of our actors switched characters several times a night. So I would walk in stilts for a bit, and then I would switch to either my nurse character or this character. It really depended on the type of night it was. Since this character didn't talk as much, I usually play it on like Saturdays when the music was really loud and there's tons of people. And then like save the other character for when it's a little bit quieter and I can talk and interact with them. This is just kind of a crazy, all over the place, gibberish, fun character that I played.
Sean and
Go ahead.
Say that again, Deoblo.
I said, did you create that character on the fly, or that's something that you already had?
It was on the fly. I just it was an old straitjacket I had for many years, and I painted it up, and I had just had it. And then I needed something different for that night. I think it was also really cold, and my dress was not doing it. So I kind of changed into it, and then my best friend Anna did my makeup, and then she was like, "This would look cool if you got your hair all greasy and gross," popped in the lined out contacts, and then went with it. That's usually what happens, is that all of my characters are just pieced together on the fly. I don't write down. Sometimes I'll get like ideas, but usually I'll like get an idea for a specific thing and then make it, and then whenever it gets put into use.
I have a unique question here, and with your character, what do you find the crowds find the most like appealing? I guess, is it the contacts, the teeth, the costume? What do you feel like you always hear the comments being made about?
The specific character in general.
I guess you could, either one. You pick.
Okay. So like, most of the time when I'm on stilts, that's like the first thing that they're like, "You're 8 feet tall."
Yeah.
But I'd say, I don't know, the contacts do really make a big difference. I think even when I'm on stilts versus on the ground, a lot of the times, especially when I'm wearing like blind out contacts like that, or like I have not worn scleras, but when people wear scleras, I'm sure it gets the same effect, just because the regular like Manson contacts, they're more popular, whereas these are a little bit harder to wear, so you don't find people that wear them as often. But a good combo of the contacts and eyes, people usually notice the contacts more.
Scott would like to know, after having been a stilt character, do you prefer being on stilts, and have you run into issues as a stilt character specifically?
Yeah, so I've been walking on stilts for about 5 years now, and I'd say I do prefer being on stilts just because it's such a nice feeling. Like I'm normal sized, just being able to be taller than everybody else in general is a nice feeling. But also, you're a crazy person and you're taller than everybody else. It just kind of gets a different emotion from people. A lot of the time, people will see me they'll be walking on the sidewalk, coming in, they'll see me moving over, and then I see them turn around and run back to their cars. But there's obviously issues with walking on stilts. This past October, I was walking in grass. It was my first experience regularly walking in grass. I had done it before, but it wasn't quite even. So I had to keep in mind, as I was focusing on acting and making sure I didn't step on people, keep in mind that there were different hills and different holes in certain spots. You kind of have to memorize where that kind of stuff is. I did fall for the first time this October. My foot got stuck on a pole, but being on stilts, you should be trained to fall. Everybody at the haunted house that we're at, we all do fall training and stuff like that. So when I fell, I was able to kind of tuck and roll, and I didn't get any injuries, luckily. But there's definitely, it's people running into your legs, when they get scared and stuff like that. Hitting your head. I hit my head a lot.
Oh, no.
I'll come inside. Last year I was bald, so I'd come inside and I'd go in the makeup room and I'd go down real low and be like, guys, am I bleeding? They're like, I love it. I think it's worth the bumps and bruises that I get and the reactions, even out of kids. They just think it's super cool that I'm so tall.
Yeah. Christopher. Voodoo.
That's Voodoo. Voodoo. Voodoo has worked with in the haunted house. Come here, buddy.
There's Voodoo.
Oh, look at the mohawk. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's been my pal. He would sit with me while I would make costumes and masks and stuff. So he's used to all that.
Voodoo's a hit. Voodoo's a star. Puppers. Oh, yeah. Yep. All right.
So what we got going on here in this one?
So that was a bunny character that I had played. This is really the only character that I wore a mask. I really prefer to not wear masks just because I feel like the way I can make different facial expressions, you know what I mean? And I don't really like wearing silicone all night long. So I just feel like it's better for me to not wear a mask. But I did enjoy playing this character because it was a lot of kids liked it just because it was more of an animal character. So when I would do parades and stuff, I really liked playing this character. Everybody wanted to come say hi to the giant bunny. It definitely does kind of make things a little bit hairy sometimes when I'm wearing the blind out contacts on stilts, especially when people use their flash. I'm sure anybody else who uses blind out contacts knows when you get flash on your face, it makes it pretty much impossible to see. So when you're on stilts, it can be a little sketchy sometimes, and you got people pointing their flashes at you when you have the blind out contacts in.
Katrina would like to know how long it took you to learn the stilt walking.
It probably took, before I was able to completely walk on my own without leaning on anything, probably took about a month and a half, 2 months of pretty consistent, a couple times a week, getting on them. And that was all the way down. So it took me about 6 months to learn to walk in them without anything on the lowest setting. To get all the way up, I would say it probably took me 3 or 4 months to get comfortable enough to walk without leaning on anything. But I'd say it took the second or third year before I was really comfortable being able to get really close to people or run some of the scarier stuff, jump, stuff like that. It took me a few years of just consistently being on them. You also have to build up your muscles. If I don't, before October, I have to walk in the stilts, whether it's walking down the road or going in the haunted house and just doing laps. You got to build up those muscles. That way you can, walk the full whatever 5-8 hours your haunt night is without getting real sad at the end of the night.
I gotta say, I love your character, but I also gotta say I love this lady's reaction in the
Good catch.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I like this outfit a lot. My favorite is like 1920s, 1930s, like vintage costumes and characters.
Now, I see you have a prop in this character here. How often do you find yourself using props in your characters?
I used to use props a lot. The last haunted house that I worked at was more of an open parking lot, whereas the queue line that I worked in this past October is a tent with like the bungee ropes. So I kind of needed my hands this past October, but before that, I did like using the weapons a lot. It kind of creates something extra, like for pictures, or if you get tired and you want to rest, you can kind of sit there and just play around with the axe, spin it, and talk and threaten people. But if you're in more of like a tight situation where you have to be really conscious about like where you're putting your feet and where people are, it's usually a little bit better to have your hands free just in case you need to grab onto a tent or a flagpole, if you're lucky enough to have something to grab onto.
Yeah, you could use it as a crutch too, can't you? If you're going down, stick it out.
Yeah. I almost fell a couple years ago, actually. And I ended up catching myself on that exact axe. It was probably like 4 years ago now. And I caught myself on that axe and I ended up pushing myself back up on my stilts. So it did help me that time. But I want to look into getting some sort of big, long staff. That way, just in case, I'm in an open place, I don't have anything to grab onto. Use it to kind of balance myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sean would like to know, what do you do pre-show and post-show to get into or out of show mode?
So I usually like to listen to music, relax. I usually don't like to drink caffeine or anything. I'll make sure I drink a lot of water beforehand. I just tend to fizzle out a little bit sooner if I do a lot of food or a lot of caffeine. I definitely like to make sure I eat. But yeah, I'll just kind of relax. I'll usually go off to myself. I don't really like to mingle with anybody. I'll just kind of sit and listen to music and like play Sudoku on my phone and make up until it gets close to time. And then afterwards, I just go home and whatever I can get off me, I rip off me, and I'm asleep. Most of the time, I just ruin any pillowcases. I try to get my makeup off, but after, especially when I'm walking in stilts, I get pretty tired sometimes. So I'm just like, whatever.
I can wash it.
Yeah, I worry about it in the morning.
Let's see here. Looks like Sean would like to know, Devin, how long did it take you to learn to walk, act on stilts? And I think you touched on that a little bit already. But it sounds like he's a little intrepid about that, a little scared. What would you say to Sean to make him feel better about learning?
So my drywall stilts in particular, they have 2 supports on them that go on your legs. So your foot sits on a platform, and then there's a steel bar that comes up and it sits next to kind of your knee and your shin, and it stabilizes your leg. Most stilts have 1. My stilts have 2. That helps me out a lot. They're a little bit more expensive, but I think it's the same ones that Alan Hops sells. It has the 2 supports on both sides. I tried the 1 support recently for the first time, and it made me feel really unsteady. So if you're a little bit more leery and want to look into safety, I would definitely recommend the 2 support stilts, and also getting some sort of walking stick, and even just having like a buddy there with you while you're learning to be able to like hold their hand, because you never know what could happen. I slipped on a little piece of rubber one time and went down, and I had someone to kind of help me out. But making sure you take your time and really know what you're doing before you actually take that leap, because I've seen people get hurt, thinking that they can just get on them, and no, but there's a lot more that goes into it. You have to kind of like read what people's movements are, because if you step on someone's foot, it would really suck for them. It's a whole different extension of your leg that you have to be conscious about. But it's worth it. I would definitely say it's worth it. I think it's a lot of fun. And after, it's like riding a bike. After you kind of figure it out, practice for a while, as long as you warm your muscles up, it's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna do it. I'm telling you.
You would. I believe in you.
If I fall, man, I'm not gonna heal as fast as you youngsters, but I'm gonna take a couple weeks off work. I don't know.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Devin. We'll come back to here in a couple minutes or a little bit. But we are at the top of the hour, and we like to do a little segment here to say, for those of you that are just joining or are new to the show, this is your chance to win some amazing prizes from our awesome sponsors.
Awesome sponsors.
Go to them for all your haunt needs.
All your
haunt needs. But all you have to do to win any of these prizes, as shown on the screen, is ask a question to anybody on the panel. And tonight's show is Actor Showcase. So all your questions about character development, actor do's or don'ts, whatever it might be, this is your chance to ask them. And so.
Or if you just want to fan out, feel free to just spread the love, share the love.
So I am going to bring it back to the top now to Alex, and we are going to share the next photo we have. So I'm assuming this is Sharky now at, oh my gosh, I forgot. The haunt. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? No. Help me, Alex. Help me. Not Statesville. Oh my gosh. Hell's Gate. Thank you. Hell's Gate. Oh my Lord.
Dude,
I've been there.
Dude, I was like, suffer.
My God, suffer. Good job, Phil. Good job, Phil. It's been a while since we've heard that one, so there you go. Enjoy it. I'm fired. I'm fired. Yes, Chris, you're right. I'm fired. Oh my Lord.
Hell's Gate Racks, Rob says. Yes. All right.
Yeah, this is the first picture that you showed of Sharky before was also Hell's Gate Sharky, but that was the first picture you showed was the first promo that we did for Hell's Gate, like the crossover episode, quote unquote. This was recently at Transworld, so this is like this costume has been lived in for a season. Dani actually made me the collar that you see, the second one, the black and white one. Because I only had one collar at the beginning, and I also had a so at the beginning of every season, or like beginning of every Sharky costume that I have, I always have a belt that I wear, and then consistently throughout the season, I just start gathering things. Either people give them to me, or I take them and they don't give it back, or they don't want it back, rather. But they don't want it back first, and then I'll just keep it. So on that little key ring is a bunch of things that either people gave to me, I've found on the ground, just a lot of just random things. And that's like a very token thing about Sharky, is that she likes stealing things. That's her. If she were in prison for something actually, instead of being born into prison, that's like her. That's the thing about Statesville, or part of her Statesville story is that she was born into the prison. But she is a very common thief, and she likes to steal everything. So that's that. But this was at Transworld this past year. That's pretty much all I've got here. Because it is the same. It's the same getup as last time. From the the other picture from Hell's Gate. So, oh yeah, look at that. So this was at Midnight Terror, which is Devin's haunt. They did a Christmas event last year, and this was a spur of the moment costume because I was deciding whether or not if I wanted to guest act or just walk through, because every year I walk through Midnight Terror because I love their show. Love their show. And the people in it, of course. So I kind of made this costume in a week and just went and played.
Turned out great.
Awesome.
Turned out great.
Thanks.
Did
My
you make
friend,
this?
so yes, I made the entire costume. I
awesome.
didn't do the makeup for this one. Bonnie Bones actually did this makeup because I've never had my makeup done by her before, and I wanted to because she's a huge inspiration for me. So I let her put makeup on my face, and I felt super cool. So and then the teeth that I'm wearing are actually handmade. I didn't make them. My friend made them because when I went to school, we did a whole dentures unit. So I was the model for my friend's project, and he made me these candy teeth because his project was a candy witch. So like she was all made of candy and all that stuff. So I was like, why don't I use these for this gingerbread character for Christmas? Mind blown. Look at that. Can use them for both things.
Right.
So that was like a really big hit because people were like, what is in your mouth? And I'm like, girl, I don't know. Some peppermints. I don't know.
That's super cool. And this is a good question from Michael. Sounds like there's a bit of role playing that goes into the character. Does that character come from the costume, or does the character concept inspire the costume for you?
For this character or for Sharky?
Let's just say overall, in general.
So sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Because like for Sharky, it does not matter. Whatever I'm wearing. The character is still the character no matter what I'm wearing. But for this one, I would say that I needed that little backup. The concept was what made me think about, like, the whole concept started with the teeth. And then I was like, what if I did a gingerbread character? Because it was Christmas. So parts and aspects of that costume did create the character for me for this one. Because it wasn't just like a spur of the moment thrown together costume.
Gotcha. Barry says you're very creative, and that he's saying that to all of the guests.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. We agree. That. We agree, Barry. Thank you. Fluffy. Who else we got there?
That's one of my favorite pictures. So that's me. Everybody, I don't even have to introduce him. Everybody knows who that is. And then that's my best friend, Devin, on the right. Her character's name is Bruises. She's my partner in crime. She's my best friend in the entire world. I don't know where I'd be without her, especially in the haunted house industry. These two are I don't even know what to say. They're always there for me in the tent. They're the best to play off of. I would not be where I am without them. They're both from Statesville, of course. So we kind of all kind of had to do the same thing together, right? So Devin actually was in the house before. Obviously, Jeff's been out there for God knows how long, since the beginning of eternity. But Devin actually came outside maybe 3 years into Statesville when she started. So I was out there before she was. So when she came out, it was a party, because if your best friend's out there with you, then it's even more fun to play off of, right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
I owe everything to Jeff Walker. That is a proven fact, and I will say that till the day I die, even though it's cheesy and it's like, oh my God, Fluffy, I'm your biggest fan. Oh my God. No, he really has taught me everything, because this is something that I tell everybody if they're like, what, how did you get outside? I didn't. The thing is that I was for my second year, I was just a makeup artist. And for the makeup artist, they usually just place you in places where spots need to be filled. And I was like, that's fine. I'll do whatever. I really don't care. I love doing different characters and stuff like that. So I go downstairs for them to be placed after makeup's done. And they're like, you're outside. And I was like, what? This was my second year, and my first year I was in a maniac cage, so I was closed off away from everybody else. So they're like, "You're going outside," and I was like, "I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything." So as soon as I went outside, I wasn't Sharky. I was what would they call the Blood Girls, which is more of a sexualized character. So I did not know what the hell I was doing. So Jeff came up to me. He's like, "Who are you and why are you out here?" I said, I don't know. I'm just here. So he literally just kind of took me under his wing and taught me everything I know. So I owe it all to him.
That's pretty great. That's why I threw that question up there at that time that said, who's your greatest inspiration or who's been your inspiration? Because it sounded like Jeff Walker and Fluffy was the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then Trish chimed in with her character name is Fluffy too.
I love that.
What do we have here?
That is the OG Sharky. That is
OG Sharky.
That's the real one. That's the Shark Queen. We love her. This is when I won the Jim Warfield Award, which is behind me. I don't know where. Right there. Yeah.
Cool.
It's right there. It's in the middle of my room, so because I'm like super proud about it. So Chris Zorowski from Haunted House Chicago / Transworld Live gave me this award, and I don't think I've ever been proud of something more in my entire life. I will talk about it forever because I've been ever since I went outside, ever since I knew about it as a Q Line actor, I wanted it. I was like, I need that. This is my goal, is to be recognized for what I'm doing, or at least trying my best to be recognized for this award. So when they came, this was the last year of Statesville, by the way. That's why I have the mask on, because it was COVID 2021. So when they came, this was the final fear. When Haunted House Chicago came and they were like, "Oh, we're giving the," I thought they were giving like the best haunt award, which they do every year for like every haunted house in the Midwest. And then they started talking about an actor, and I was like, "What's happening?" And then they started talking about people who steal things and somebody who is relentless and is stupid and funny and dances, and I was like, so it was like the most surreal moment that I've ever had. I don't think I've ever hugged anybody so hard, because it's just, I don't know. I'm still giddy about it. Like I still kind of forget that I did that. So
such a good story. I love it. And I'm sure you've seen the hearts over here from
Caitlin. Yeah.
From Caitlin. Yeah.
She'll tell you that I was like shaking, and crying. So, yeah, because Kyle, my boss, was like, "Alex," before we got, it was like 4:00 maybe, and I was like in makeup, starting to like clean my airbrush and stuff. He's like, "Alex, you should probably get into makeup early today." I said, "No, I don't want to do that." That's probably why, but I didn't listen. I was half a costume when they gave it to me.
Nice.
Love it. I love it.
Awesome.
Love it. Do you make any specific tweaks to your characters from one season to the next? Mike Clark would like to know.
For Sharky is basically the only character that I play, besides if I'm at like an off-season event for another haunt, or if I'm traveling or anything like that. So for Sharky, I had to do it for Statesville to Hell's Gate, but other than that, not really. She stays the same.
Okay. This is fabulously disgusting and lovely.
Oh, thanks.
Tell us about this.
Yeah, this is my shock factor character. It doesn't have a backstory. It doesn't have anything. It's just gross.
Sometimes those are the most fun to do. Something that you didn't really
want. Didn't really have any kind of expectation for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree.
So this is Baby. Wow, what a really, well, you wouldn't guess that name, right? So generic, love it, amazing, 10 out of 10 name. So this I saw them. So this wasn't the original mask. I have the older mask in another photo. I don't know if it'll come up here or not, but one of my friends, Salem, had a mask company, and I saw this mask and I was like, oh my God, that is the scariest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. I need it. So I instantly bought it, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. So I was like, well, what if I make this nurse character, quote unquote? I was like, what are those, like, those stupid little Mardi Gras babies? I was like, what if I put them in a bucket with blood? People would be freaked out. So I did that. And I actually wear slider pads. She's not a slider. No, I don't do that. I tried. I'm not really good at it. So I wear the knee pads, and what I'll do is I'll crawl on the ground, and I'll shove the bucket on the ground, and then I'll crawl towards the bucket, and people are like, ah!
That's cool.
Or I'll like give them, like, hold out the bucket like this. So I'm like, you want some? And then people will put their hand in there, and I'm like, oh, you don't want to do that. So they did that of their own free will. But the only thing that I say, she's very nonverbal. The only thing that I say is baby.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's so stupid. It's just funny. And a lot of my friends, they'll mock me by just saying baby. And it's so funny. It's so stupid. But it's so scary.
Steve would like to know, what drew you into acting and haunts? Were you recruited, saw ads, or specifically a friend?
So in high school, I started when I was 17. So when I was in high school, people were like, oh, let's go to Statesville. I heard that they separate you from each other and that they're super scary and I can't even make it through, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't go. Did I search it on YouTube and watch all of the Days of the Living Dead? Yes, I did, until I found the auditions, and then I went by myself. So I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how to do anything. I just went, and now I'm here.
Love it.
What's this one?
Here's another generic name. I don't really have great names for these characters, but this one is justified because it's based off of the sleep paralysis demon, the Hat Man, where people are like, I have like the sleep paralysis and he's in the corner of my room or whatever. Apparently people see this apparition of a tall man in a trench coat with a hat on his head. So again, my friend Salem has a mask company, and I saw this one too, and I was like, I want it, give it to me. So I bought it, and I've only played this character once at a haunt, because I'm still trying to tweak it around a little bit because I'm not really too happy with the costume and everything. Because what's challenging for me right now is because I'm very short. I'm 5'3", and this character is supposed to be tall. I don't look very menacing as the Hat Man at 5'3".
Get on the stilts.
Right. So I've only played it once, but I have taken a lot of photos of him because it is pretty scary. Personally, I think. And the long nails, I love having those long nails. I also have them for one of my other characters too. I just think it adds the creep effect. But this one is also nonverbal.
Speaking of long nails.
Yeah, speaking of long nails, there she is. One of them's a little crooked in that picture, but we're not going to talk about that.
I've lost who asked it earlier, but someone was asking if you have a collection of items that Sharky has stolen.
Yes.
And where do we keep this collection? Is this
So I have some here. The Statesville, my Statesville belt that I have from my OG costume still has all of the things on it. I have a size 13 shoe, size 13 men's Sperry shoe that I have not thrown out because it symbolizes one of the best scares that I've had, which is a huge man running away from me and Cinderella'd and left his shoe. So I took it, and I tied it on my belt, and he never came back for it.
I love it. It's fantastic.
So to answer the question, yes, I have a lot of things that I've acquired. It's kind of like Ariel's grotto, where she has like all the things. That's me, but as Sharky.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yep, and they're very curious about this collection.
Well, thank you, Alex. I want to give you a moment to give a shout out to any of your TikToks or any of your social medias for your character, if you'd like. So,
Or like my handles and stuff, or like people.
yeah, if you'd
Okay.
like for anybody who might want to find.
So my Facebook is just my name, which is here. I don't know what reflections do. Anyway, my TikTok and my Instagram are the Haunted Youth, like Haunters Hangout. Haunted Youth.
Hey.
So those are my TikTok and Instagram, and then I don't really use Twitter, but those are the two that I'm mostly active on. Mainly Instagram, but I do dabble in TikTok here and there now, but it's mostly Instagram now. So
Awesome. Perfect.
Awesome. I did
Well,
go ahead and drop that into the comments as well so that they can find that.
yes, and thank you, Alex, for taking the time to come on tonight and share all of this info, and we really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for you, Miss Alex. We appreciate you.
Okay, Dani, what do we got here?
That's Eek again.
Eek.
That's a little leaky. Yeah. Leaky.
I gotta say, I like what you did with like the makeup to make it look like you're like literally angry as hell at somebody or something.
Dude, I was getting ready to say that's kind of the look my wife gives me half the time.
I actually don't do my own makeup. That's like one of the skills that I don't hone as a performance artist or contactor. I don't do my own makeup. So this makeup was actually done by someone named Sarah Domaratsky. And she was our makeup manager at the floor for many, many years. And she recently left. But yeah, she did this makeup, and she was actually one of the people who helped me create like Eek's like iconic look. This look, and then Carly Chavez does a really good version of it that like I think are my two favorites. Thanks. I don't do the makeup, but I appreciate it.
So what is this character here? That
That's Eek.
That's Eek.
Yeah, this is the Portal Demon. That
Portal
kind of
Demon. Okay, I missed that. Sorry.
No, you're
Demon. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
We met her earlier. Yeah.
Jennifer Luke would like to know, do you have any plans of branching out in the future or new character ideas that you'd be willing to share with us?
I don't know, Jen. Do you want to do a collaboration with
Oh, you heard it here first, folks. Yeah. Collaboration between Jennifer Luke, Graffiti Effects, and
Dani Panek. So as of right now, I do not have any immediate plans. However, I am always trying. I just recently went out to California to do a collaboration with his name is JQ Artistry. And I'm sure a lot of people who are watching has seen his artwork. So after having that experience, I'm definitely trying to reach out and like collaborate more with more people and see like how far this can take me, you know?
Fantastic. Very cool. What do we have here?
So this is Lemon. Lemon or Lumen. Earlier I was saying that like I have a lot of clown like costumes. This is just one of them. This is one of the original ones. And she, I'm also looking at the comments as we're doing this, and somebody asked about things that like kind of worked out, even though they weren't planned. And she was not planned.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
So year before MHC, I organized a shoot with all of I wanted to get everybody who I felt like was influential in the Chicagoland area who worked at haunted houses all together.
Yep. I caught it exactly when you found the moment that she said that.
Yeah.
You should chat a collab. Sounds fun. Yep. Busted you. But looks like we got lemons for Transworld Live happening over here. All right. Now what's going on here, Sean? Y'all are
me. I'm little lemon babe.
Lemon.
So I wanted to organize a shoot with a bunch of people from Chicago before everybody from the Midwest came down for Midwest Hunters, because we did the Chicago tour that year. And the night before the shoot was Brian's bachelor party. And I was on a boat and I had a really good time. And then I wasn't on a boat and I fell face first. And if you zoom into the photo, you can see that there's like a head wound on my eyebrow. And I messed up my face, y'all. So they did the makeup in the last photo. Sarah, she came in and saved my life. I had the clown costume in my car from the night before. I had completely forgotten my Eek costume because I wanted to do Eek but forgot. So, and Andy also made that hat, and we pulled together this fucking mess. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you apologize for swearing.
It's all right. You're completely allowed here.
Okay.
Good.
Yes.
I usually cuss all the time, but Alex, I didn't want to offend Alex.
Girl. But yeah, this series of photos is probably some of my favorite photos I think that I've ever taken. These were taken by Sergio. His Instagram handle is Pics by Sergio. And I don't know. I love this picture. This is my favorite thing. This is another character that you'll probably never see in a haunted house. She's just she's just a thing.
You definitely should though. It's got the creepy vibes, between the blacked out mouth and everything. It's just, I don't know. I kind of get terrified. I don't know for those of you that have seen it.
Maybe
I kind of get terrified of the vibe.
Maybe we'll see her at the MEC party.
There you go.
Yeah. She's more of a party clown. She's got the hat on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
I'll bring this one full screen.
Cool photos, yeah. So this is a vampire I did. I actually did this shoot with Carly Chavez of Massacre Haunted House, and so I kind of started doing photo shoots last year as a way to get closer in haunted house community with I fangirl, I feel over everybody who's 45 minutes away from me, and we're so close but we're also so far. So I used these photo shoots as a way for all of us to get together, and this was one of the first ones that I did with Carly. I worked with, I think this photo was taken by JC Images, and then I brought a semi-similar character to Ren Fair. She wasn't a full vampire. And I haven't actually debuted this one in a haunted house yet. I would.
Yes. Dani says, excellent photography. Super awesome way to showcase talent in many different forms. I agree with Dani.
Yeah, I agree as well. It was definitely, when we started doing these, we wanted to showcase everybody's talents, whether it be the actor, the photographer, the makeup artist, the costume maker. And I feel so far we've done a pretty good job of that. We've got some more coming up soon that y'all are going to have to be on Instagram and stuff to see. So if you're not following me or all of, you should be.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that on Instagram? What's the handle for that?
So my Instagram is Dani Panek, and then it's spelled right.
Is it PANI or
Yep.
E?
PANIK.
Okay.
Yeah. EK is the legal way to spell my last name, but I
Got it.
Right. But yeah, and then I don't know, there's photographers and makeup artists and stuff that we work with. That's Burb. So Burb is Eek's like counterpart. Eek carry. Hold on one second. Actually, I will show you. So, sorry. Eek carries this doll, and I believe this doll was made by Anthony Glenn of Original Sins Designs. I might be wrong. All I know is that this was purchased at Hell's Gate Haunted House for me by an actor, and then they brought it back for me because I was managing and couldn't go see the show that year. So we do an event at the end of our season called Blackout. And Blackout is where we open all of our egress doors and turn off all the lights. And we throw all of our actors in the show and we let, customers walk through and we give them out for 45 minutes to an hour and then send them out. We turn like the whole show into like a maze. And we try to theme all of our shows or all of our like off-season events, and we do a lot of like shadow creatures. And I was trying to think of something that would be fun because I was still trying to do Eek, but I didn't want to do Eek per se. So I was trying to think of something that would be fun. And in the past, I had done onesie characters like this, onesie characters, morph suits. And I was looking at Burb, and I was like, it would be fun to have a character that looked like this. And so the idea behind this costume was like, Eek sees Burb, this thing, her friend, right? So like, Eek sees this, like the photo, when she looks at this. So the idea of the onesie character was to like take this to life. I don't know if you are familiar with the show Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends.
Yes.
This was like based off of that show.
Super cool. Love that.
And
everyone's super into the idea of the photo shoots that you've been doing, and there's some curiosity as to whether or not you have pics to sign for people, or do you make T-shirts, that sort of thing, for when you do your appearances?
So I will have some stuff available at Midwest Hunters. And I'm in the process right now of getting some merch. Obviously, the stuff I do is not cheap, so I've been trying to figure out ways to help get a little bit of funding doing that while also being able to give something back in return. So I work with somebody named Coyote, and Coyote's Instagram is Garbage Gathering Gutter Goblin. And they are very, very creative, and they've drawn a couple of different designs for me that I will have on shirts and stickers and stuff in the near future. So thanks for asking.
Excellent. I love this photo so much.
Thank you. That is taken by JC Images. He actually doesn't do a lot of haunt photography. He is a friend of my friend Sergio. And he was just looking into getting into like more studio type photography. And Sergio was like, come with to the shoot, not knowing that it was us looking like that. And he like fully embraced it, man. He's such a gas. I love seeing JC. But this is Eek again at probably one of the same shoots that we've looked up in the past. But yeah, it's cool to see like different photographers take photos of the same characters because they all look different.
They all have different viewpoints, I imagine, different perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah, and editing style and stuff like that.
Very cool. Love
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Dani, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to
Yes.
go over all your characters and give us all the insight. We really, really appreciate it. And do you mind giving one more time your shout out for any of your social medias?
My social medias, yeah. So I'm on Instagram primarily as Dani Panek, spelled like how my little name is here. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. And then, if you're ever interested about photographers or anybody that I work with, just click on the photo that you like and read my description, and they're all tagged.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if you guys wouldn't mind, after the show, there's been an absolute ton of questions that we could not get to tonight, or that popped up later that we were unable to get to tonight. So if you wouldn't mind going back through some of this and taking a look and maybe answering some of these for some folks, if you have the time, I know that they would greatly appreciate hearing from you guys directly about some of the stuff we couldn't get to. So
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right.
Perfect. Okay. Devin.
Devin.
What do you got?
Picture.
What's that?
Those fingers didn't last very long.
Oh,
I'm too neurotic. I move and flail too much. I have to have very simple characters. Even the hat had to go sometimes. I'd be hitting stuff and I have to be very confined.
Now, did you make this one yourself, or?
No. So I jumped in super late this season at Midnight Terror. It was like literally September, and I went in for auditions, and I was like, "Hey guys," and they were like, "Hey," and I was like, "Can I do something?" And Justin's just, I could never say enough. And treats everybody so well. He just accepted me, and I appreciate that he was very relaxed about this year. I wanted to have a good, relaxing year because I've been a manager every other year for the past 6 years. So not having that radio in your ear is just so nice. You can just focus on acting. But this was just kind of thrown together. The pieces were originally for something else, and then Andy, Dani's boyfriend, made the hat. I think he also made the neck piece as well. Yeah, he made the hat and the neck piece as well. But the corset was from something else. I really like this character this past October because I was bald and I had wrapped my chest, and so it was really nice not having to worry about like being a girl, in the haunted house industry. You're always going to get people that are just pieces of shit, that just say, "Oh, you're a girl, I can touch you, or I can trip you, or I can say a certain thing to you and you can't do anything about it." So being able to have that barrier of people being like, "Is that a girl? Is it a boy? Is, what is that thing?" It was very nice this year, but the still pants, they're usually one solid color, so it does make it a little bit harder to do more in-depth characters because you're so limited with the pants. They have to be a certain way, certain movement. But I'm hoping to be working on some things for this coming up October to make it more layered and more of me, because I really love this character a lot. But it just wasn't something that I created, and I would like that for this October.
Yeah, very cool. Hope so. And Cobwebs Key says, "Nope, hands off, fuckers." Yeah. And it is a prominent issue for sure in the haunted industry. And I'm glad there's programs out there that are working on safety and stuff like that through some of the industry. And I know the Haunted Attraction Association is working on training for stuff like that as well, I believe. So it's good to hear. And I'm glad you brought it up because it is a thing. And specifically that women need to think about a little bit more. So having that barrier is, I'm glad you brought that up, Devin. Right on. All right.
The Christmas show.
Yes.
I loved this character a lot, just because it was so fun to look at. It was kind of a difficult character to play because I was in that kind of hunched position to make those candles have that appearance for most of the night. So it did do a number on my back, but it was worth it because in the pitch black, all those candles, I hot glued to that shirt, and I was not sure it was going to work, and it ended up working, and I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
I had to make some adjustments. I had to put a piece of I'm not sure what it's called. It's the foam floor pieces that kind of puzzle piece together. Yeah, the EVA foam. I cut like a little rectangle out of that to put the tall candles on my back on, so they had more stability because I was having a problem with them flopping over. So it was kind of pieced together, but it ended up being a lot of fun.
You wear some serious stilts. Holy cows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all the way up. My boyfriend's 6'3", so we actually met during the haunted house. I was on stilts, and he was like, "I finally have to look up to somebody."
I think I'm in love. Excellent. Chad would like to know, Devin, do you prefer to scare or interact with the patrons?
So it really depends. I really like to make sure that when I'm acting, I'm paying attention to everybody's vibes, like all of the patrons, whether they're having a good time, a bad time, whether they're too stressed out, if I need to maybe go up to a security guard and calm off. So I'm not one to really push boundaries. If someone's super scared, unless I can tell that it's more like a friendlier scare, there's a difference between people that are genuinely like on the ground, can't breathe, and people that are like kind of laughing and screaming and running. But what's the question?
No stress. Oh, look, Keith also cobwebs again. That had to be hell on the back. Yeah, she was talking about that. Yeah, and we had another that said, "Ouch, that's commitment." Yep.
This is darkness. Oh, this is cool. Wow.
Sometimes I do talk to people, especially when I've been out there for a while. After you get that initial scare when you're a line actor, you're hanging out there for a while, and sometimes people are looking at you for an hour, 2 hours, so you can't just go all night long. Yeah. Eventually you get to a point where you're gonna be like, "What's up? I like your shoes." You know what I mean? Like that, after a while, people will get bored after a while. Really about making sure people are scared, but people can only be scared for so long. When you're working in a busy haunted house and you have a really long line, you got to change it up and find new different ways, whether it's like engaging with them dancing, like if a song comes on that has a dance, like the Cupid Shuffle or Electric Slide or whatever. Being able to do that with the crowd and then changing it up and maybe going inside for a bit, coming back out, resetting, trying to get them scared again. But it really depends on the mood and the people that are there that night.
Yeah,
for sure. Entertainment is making sure and they're paying you so they have a good time. They want to be scared and over, but they're not looking to like fall into the dirt or hurt themselves. They want to have fun overall. Pretty much all these pictures are going to be either Tom Sidlowskis. I can't. His /visuals is going to be his social medias, and then also Chris with KHK. They both do a lot of photography work at Midnight Terror, and they're both absolutely phenomenal. I love this picture so much. It took a lot of angles, and he was like all the way on the floor trying to get. It's hard in pictures a lot of the time to really get how tall I am. So it's usually just like chest shots. So he literally was on the floor, completely laying down in that position.
Yeah. There you go. It's okay. No one knows how to pronounce it.
For Tall Tom.
Oh, no stilts. There you go.
Yeah, this is. I'm like, wait a minute. There's legs there.
There were a few times this year that I did get off the stilts. A couple times it was to help out in the haunted house. A couple of times probably I had to use the bathroom or something. I can go to the bathroom on the jumping stilts. I do have to say that. I can't on the drywall stilts, but I can on the jumping stilts. But I do like being on the ground. It's hard. It can be hard. Honestly, a lot of the times when I'm on the ground, I'll catch myself walking around on my tippy toes. I'm so used to the stilts. Yeah, being tall, and I'm like, I need to get up here to be scarier, especially like when I get into character. I'm thinking, okay, what can I do to make these people more scared of me? And my brain's like, be taller. But it does. I do like being on the ground because I can get more. I can be closer to people because I can bend down low, but I'm still usually my face is above people's heads. So it is nice to be able to interact with people on the ground and being able to talk to them on the same level, and they're not looking at you like you're some sort of. Well, I mean, I am still pretty scary, but well, yeah, like that.
Yeah, that qualifies as pretty freaking scary.
We had a lot of people this year. I think it really came when I shaved my head. That people would just run. Like they would look at me. I would be standing still and they would just see me and they would run. And that was a lot of fun because I just had to stand there.
This is a great question. And from Scott, after walking all night in stilts, how long does it take to get used to walking normal sized again?
I definitely get sea legs sometimes, especially super long nights. Usually not too long. Maybe like 10, 15 minutes, I'll kind of sit on the countertop, and then like the first initial step down, I'm a little bit wonky, but after a couple steps, usually I kind of remember how to walk.
That's an interesting question. Have you ever had to switch characters midway through the night?
Yes. The last haunted house that I worked at, I would change characters multiple times through the night. So I had 2 different stilt characters. I had the bunny mask stilt character, and then I wore a big Alan Hops bear head and had this big trench coat, and I had these arms with like bare hands and a claw. And I would change. I would think about it. I would usually go do the bear first. It didn't really have a lot of makeup or anything. And then I would just take off the big pieces, and I would switch into either the other stilt character, or I'd get on the ground and do a different character on the ground. But it was just a way to kind of keep people engaged, especially with the newer time ticketing that came with COVID that a lot of haunts switched over to. People were just looking for more. They were just sitting around, they weren't tight, packed into a line where you can't really see anything. It was more of an open environment that they were at in this case. So I did have to change multiple times through the night. It was fun. It was definitely very draining. But it also kind of sucked because sometimes I had to sit in makeup and not be outside. But
now, Devin, if I could ask you, what would be, for anybody who is thinking about stilt walking, maybe we touched on it a little bit, but what would be the best advice, and maybe the don'ts, I'll ask that too, for stilt walking?
So I would say good advice would be making sure you're wearing good shoes underneath, like your real shoes. I make sure that I have memory foam, like compressed cushion gym shoes that are form-fitting to your feet, and also making sure your stilts are measured right with the foot plate. It's important to make sure all your bells and whistles are good. Nuts and bolts are screwed all the way in. And I learned a lot of this from Derek, who was the clown stilt walker at Statesville quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
Me and him have had quite a few conversations when I went out to Hell's Gate to guest act. me and him had a conversation, and he ended up teaching me a lot, things I didn't know about, like different. He was picking my stilt up and like showing me different spots. So just making sure that you really know your stilts, because you're entrusting your well-being and making sure that they're safe. But I would say probably the things to not do is not be too cocky, not be too confident, always making sure that you are being safe, because not only are you putting yourself in danger, but also the customers and also your friends, your coworkers, the other actors you're working with. And those things are especially the ones that I wear, and they even go taller. So for the taller ones, you can do some damage. So making sure that you're not being too crazy, know your bounds, your limits.
Awesome.
Absolutely awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Devin. Now, social media. Can they find any of your?
Yeah. So I've been a little bit inactive the last couple months, moving from Indiana to Chicago, but I am hoping to start posting more soon. There's a photo shoot coming up that I'm going to be a part of, so I'll probably post some stuff from that. But my Instagram is big.spaghetti.mama.
I love it.
And then my TikTok is spaghetti_mama. Those are
I love it.
Awesome.
I'm not super active on Instagram. I'm most active, I'd say, on Facebook. But TikTok, I just kind of like my funny haha until October comes around. Then you get a lot of spooky stuff, obviously.
Love it. Super good.
Well, thank you, Devin, for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to the whole panel. I will say again, thank you guys. Thank you, ladies, for coming out tonight. And we really appreciate you guys. We really do.
You're amazing, all three of you, and we appreciate you
Yes.
all so much. Thank you for being here.
Yes. Y'all are amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
And we look forward to seeing y'all at MHC as well. It'll be a good time.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Try to have something laying around for you to steal, Alice.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna show up. And I'm a pen, maybe your hat. No one is safe, or nothing, rather.
Yeah. And well, with further ado, we'll get to some prizes, I think, right?
We will indeed, yes. And thank you so much to all of our sponsors for providing such amazing prizes for us tonight. So make sure that you visit them first for all your haunt needs. If you have won something from tonight's show, we do ask that you, once you've received that, if it's a physical prize, that you please post a photo of that in the Hangout for us. That gives our sponsors a little shout out that is well deserved by them. For providing all this good stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you again, sponsors. If I call your name tonight and you've won a prize, please be sure to send me your information no later than Sunday night. If you don't hear from me throughout the weekend, please don't panic. You'll hear from me on Monday at the latest. And again, no later than Sunday to contact me to claim your prize with your information. If you have won a shirt, please be sure to include your shirt size. That would be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, our winners tonight are from Halloween Shirt Company for a free shirt, Dylan Jacobs.
Yeah.
From Unsub Masks, a free mask goes to Christy Lynn Farrell. Atmos Effects, Hollow Haunts, free download goes to Rob Beach. Congratulations, Rob.
Rob don't get nothing. Come on. It's fixed.
From Ned's LEDs, the deluxe 12-volt sampler pack, Christopher Presley. Congratulations, Christopher.
Christopher don't get nothing either.
You heard the man. He said, for Monsters Alive, $25 off, we have Mike Clark.
Mikey.
Congrats, Mike. Rotten Prop Works set of zombie arms goes to Nadine Mom. Congratulations, Nadine. From Toxic Effects, Rotten Pumpkin number 5, Joe, Wolf, Richie. Congratulations.
Mhm.
From Fright Night Studios, The Bloody Hatchet goes to Barry D. Day Verster. Oh boy, Barry, you're gonna have to like send me a pronunciation thing to my Facebook Messenger for that one for me.
Feels like half the show.
Cobwebs and Candlesticks. The Latex Human Scalp goes to Christian Sedios. Congratulations, Christian. From Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off goes to Chris Roosh. The Roosh.
Yeah.
From Nightmare Makers, One Unfinished Skull goes to Nicole Montroy. Congratulations, Nicole. From 916 Productions, $25 off goes to Sean Polium. Congratulations, Sean. And from Froggy's Fog, A Gallon of Bog Fog goes to Cameron Pierce. Congratulations to Cameron. From Horror Ornaments, one free ornament goes to Michael Martell. Congrats, Michael. From Fright Props, $50 off to Sean Boswell. Congratulations, Sean. Scarlet Badges, $50 worth of free badges goes to Karen L. Murphy. Congratulations, Karen. From Haunted Hills Productions, the free Necromask goes to Chris Holcomb. Congratulations, Chris.
Hey.
and from Monster Misfits, the free bottle of Monster Blood goes to Dani Panek. Congratulations to the other Dani. All right, there you go. Do you feel better? Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Congratulations to all our winners. Thank you so much to all our panelists tonight. Dani, Devin, Alex, we appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Philly Cheese, who just made himself go hidey back there. There you are. Hi. We'll hand it back over. And thanks again to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. And what do we get to look forward to in 2 weeks?
Thank you. See? Thank you. I knew it.
I was going to forget. I forgot.
Our next show 2 weeks from tonight, guys, is our pro finale. We are super excited. We will have Ed Terabus from Erebus, and we will have Jim Werner from the brain people help me here from Eloise.
No, you guys, you should have made her work for it. Make her work for it.
Thanks for keeping up with the brain tonight. I appreciate you guys. So we're super excited to have them and very excited for that show. And then on May 25th, our final show will be our MHC, all things MHC show with our Transworld Live family, Chris Zarobsky and Nicole Ginsburg. And we're super excited about that too. So make sure you join us 2 weeks from now for Ed Terabus and Jim Werner. We are excited for them. And 2 weeks from then, May 25th, our MHC promo show. Look forward to seeing y'all then. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you guys for coming out. You guys are all amazing, man. I follow you guys' stuff, and I'm just in awe of it.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Hey, I wish I had the talent.
Man, I just work here.
Awesome.
No, but thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. We're gonna sign off. See you guys in 2 weeks, and thank you to the panel. Good night.
See you at MHC.